So I guess the question that interests us this week is, in essence, a simple question. What is the relationship between the Torah portion of Yitro and Mishpatim? In Yitro, we get the Ten Commandments. We have this pinnacle moment of the Israelites, Mount Sinai, this ecstatic experience, and we have the Ten Commandments. And then this week's Torah portion, Mishpatim really reads a bit like the first notebook in Jewish history. We have Moses that's taking down notes and writing now the ramifications of the Ten Commandments. And this is the interesting difference. If we look at the Ten Commandments, face value, if I'm an Israelite and I hear the Ten Commandments, I don't really understand that much is going to change in my life. Except for one commandment. We'll get there in a moment. We have the commandments relating to the way we should view God. Okay, so there's Avodah Zarah, there are deities, there's one God. Okay, that's not something new. We're just being told here, there are certain, there's a certain ballpark borders of what you can or can't do regarding this one God that now is in charge. And then the second lot is to do with, people-to-people relations, which anyway, there were societies where you had to respect your parents and other stuff. But there is one commandment in the Ten Commandments, and it sits exactly in the middle between the first few and the last few, and that is Shabbos. Shabbos is the only commandment that when you read it, now I think it was sort of, you don't really realize it, but that everything's going to change. Because Shabbos changes your calendar. Shabbos says, this day, right now we don't yet know what it means. There's this hint. It's like suddenly a day that we all know, we need to remember, and we need to write. What does it say that but it says more. The commandment in Yitro, this commandment of Sabbath doesn't really tell me the ramifications, how it's going to change my life. This is where Mishpatim comes in place. If you look at now Mishpatim, why do I say it reads like the first notebook in Jewish history, Judaism 101? Because you have all these scattered commandments to do with a slave, Shabbos, sabbatical years, what happens if you have a bull and it hurts someone else. The common denominator between all of the commandments, and this becomes very clear, is that nothing is going to stay the same. It is only in the Torah portion of Mishpatim that we understand that the judicial system we have now is a theocracy. It goes according to divine law, and everything here changes. If all of a sudden your bull hits someone else and causes damage, it's not like in the old world where you have to then, pay back because you caused damage, but because it all belongs to God. And because you ruined another aspect of something that does not belong to you. Meaning not only does it not belong to the person, for the same reason with the slave. The slave, the rules, right? The first rule that we learn about the commandments to do with slavery. That's not new. There is nothing new for an Israelite at the time of Exodus with slavery. What is revolutionary here is that the whole system of when a slave gets to come and go all revolves around God. And this is where we understand nothing is going to be the same. So Mishpatim is this radical difference, and I think there's a reason why Shabbos that appears in the commandments appears here, because Shabbos is the center. Shabbos, the difference between when you can do and can't do, slaves which are free and not free, the sabbatical, which is a macrocosmos of Shabbos. So we have this hint in the Ten Commandments that everything's going to change. We don't yet realize it, and only when we get to Mishpatim we understand that's it. What it means to be Jewish is that nothing looks like anyone else's life. Everything is different because the whole system revolves around Hashem. Thoughts on the Torah portion of Mishpatim? Shabbat Shalom.